G'day, and welcome to Say It With Guitars. I'm your host, Pete Cornelius. Each episode, I'll be digging deep and getting to hang with some of Australia's finest guitar pickers, songwriters, producers, collectors, and makers. I look forward to bringing you these fun conversations, and I hope you enjoy Say It With Guitars.
Hello there, friends. Thanks for joining us on our last episode of the season. It's been a trip. It's been a whole lot of fun bringing you these chats with a whole bunch of talented Australian musos, producers or makers, whatever connection they have to a guitar. There's always a fascinating story behind it. So yeah, I appreciate you for tuning in. I also appreciate the sponsors that have been on board this year. Billy Tarrant from Tarrant Guitars, he's been there since the start. So thanks, mate. Thanks a bunch for, doing what you do. And also thanks to Top Shelf Instruments, Simon Grubb and the team down there for supporting the pod this year. And I don't know if you've been to Hobart recently, but they've changed sites. They've gone from the hustle of the central CBD to a slightly more easy access spot. And definitely worth checking out, folks. There's a cool vibe in there. And it's got some really nice instruments. There's a J45 I've really got my eyes on. So yeah, let's hope it disappears soon. So today's guest is Troy Cassar Daley. I was very lucky to catch up with Troy post-gig at Wilder, Tasmania, Matt Fell's place behind Sheffield at Gowrie Park. Anyway, got to sit down and chew the fat for a little bit, and I think it was a really nice, honest conversation about career stuff and also a bit of nerdy gear stuff. So thanks, mate. Also, I'd like to thank all your listeners and wish you all a very Merry Chrissy. It's very soon upon us. So have a great break and a great summer. Let's hope we can meet up again for season 5. And as always, if you enjoy the show, tell a friend, share it on the socials, and let's get the word out there, folks. Anyway, PC out. Cheers. Before we crack into today's show, I'd love to shout out to our Season 4 sponsors, Tarrant Guitars and Top Shelf Guitars. The custom workshop of award-winning luthier Billy Tarrant on the northwest coast of Tasmania uses locally and internationally sourced solid tone woods to create a wide range of custom guitars, including acoustic, electric, lap steel guitars and specialty instruments, showcasing his passion for superior tone and structural integrity. Tassy's one-stop custom workshop for custom-made guitars, all guitar repairs and services. Check out tarrantguitars.net.au. Top Shelf Instruments specialises in used and vintage guitars, pedals and amps, shipping worldwide from Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. We love helping players land exceptional instruments for manageable dollars, and guitars from Japan hold a special place in our hearts. New old guitars hit the website almost daily, so head on over to the website for this week's weird and wonderful offerings, topshelfinstruments.com.au.
I want to do a formal intro and I'd like to welcome to Say It With Guitars, Troy Cassar Daley. Troy, how you doing?
Pete, great to talk to you finally, brother, and sorry it took so long to organise, but no, really keen to have a yarn.
That's the life we live in. Everyone's got busy adventures and lots of commitments, so I caught you on a snippet of your Tassy tour. So, how'd the show go last night?
Look, the show was really interesting. To be able to play here at where Matt runs the Wilder Tasmania setup there's something about that venue. I don't know, that feels like the venue actually speaks to you and sort of tells you what to play.
Yeah.
And so does the crowd. They sort of determine what your set's going to be. And
yeah.
We had a couple of requests last night, but they were odd ones, like someone was watching me and Sal Kimber on YouTube doing a Springsteen song, you know.
Right.
And so someone's singing that out, but no one's singing out for the well-known songs. They were just listening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like open the door to the car, let them all get in and just let's go up some side tracks. Really cool.
That's great. And I love it when a venue does that. It kind of gives you that warm and friendly... and they're all in the same space, like you said. they're all. Sorry, I just put my phone on silent because it's probably going to bloody make a noise.
Yeah, that's true.
When the whole crowd's in there with you, and you can feel like you can do anything.
It felt like the venue was talking to me.
Yeah.
One of the ladies down there, I think her name's Britt, said she had her 18th birthday in that venue.
Right.
And when she told me that before the show, I started to feel that there was a lot of people's stories in the walls of this place.
Yeah.
And then so it just became a really comfortable place and a space to play.
Yeah.
And being on an acoustic, you know, bringing this Takamine down, I've got an XLR plug in there that I also use a little condenser Shure mic inside, and I only use it on really intimate shows.
Sure.
And I was able to do that, run the phantom power to it,
Yep.
turn it up as much as the preamp, and it was like matched for volume.
Beautiful.
And it just really felt very natural and organic, and that's the sort of gig it was, you know.
Yeah, that's great. And it's a good sounding space.
Yes.
It looks good, it feels good. And how do you treat, I suppose, like you mentioned off mic a little earlier, you just had the first song and the last song and the rest of it was kind of just go with the flow and probably interact and let stories kind of be told and be heard. Do you have to mentally prepare yourself for that, or you've got enough miles under the belt now, you just read the room and plug in and make it?
Look, at my age, at 56, I've been around for a fair while. And so there's a lot of songs that never see the light of day in a normal set when you're playing at festival.
Yep.
So you spend a bit of time at these sorts of more obscure gigs dragging the other ones out that don't get a Guernsey, you know.
Yep.
So last night I got a paper plate and just wrote down the first song and the last song and just a big arrow. And I sent the picture to my manager and I said, this is going to be the show tonight.
Yeah.
So it's all in your head and your heart.
Yep.
And you know, I mentioned to the people, there's a few yarns in between songs where you can tell them the actual story of the song. And it doesn't have to be too long-winded, but just enough to paint a little picture for them before they get into full stride of hearing it, you know?
Yeah.
And who you wrote it with is important. Some of the songs I'd written with Paul Kelly, I could explain the story of first sitting with him across the table and being intimidated like you would be, because he's one of my favourite songwriters, but to write a song and to tell the story about it is really quite a thrill to share that again. Yeah.
And it's the kind of stuff that we don't get in this digital age, especially listening to music through a device. You don't get the liner notes, you don't get all that backstory that you might have got through, you know, a big gatefold or even a CD. So to have that instant setup of the story and the personnel or just the situation that you wrote that song in or was inspired by, I think really helps, the audience get on side and really be part of that song.
It was a really eclectic audience too. Like you would expect them to be just country fans, but they weren't. They actually, some of them come from 2 hours away to up the road, almost next door.
Yeah.
And one lady said, she said, I've never even really seen much of your music. I'd heard of you, but we've had a friend of ours that lives local that her husband's died, and he was the one that dragged everyone to country shows. And she had no one to go with.
Right.
So they ended up here by default.
Right.
Because she said, well, I'd like to go to Troy, but I need to take some people. So she gathered up this little mob of people. And the lady who didn't particularly like country music or anything to do with going out really and this sort of thing came up to me at the end of the show and she said, I'm here with a lady whose husband's died and she's the fan, but I'd never seen you before, but she said I was totally sucked into what you do.
That's great.
And I said, well, Russell Crowe's got a saying, he says, one heart at a time. And I think that's probably how you have to approach a career too. Yeah. You know, if you throw the net out big enough, sometimes you catch a few more people in just to come and sit and have a listen. And I said, listen, you know, putting everything in a box is not that important to me. I think music is music, live music. And exactly what happened last night was just live music in a really crammed little beautiful venue.
Yep. And that's probably, I wouldn't say ideal clientele, but to have someone to come and see you without any preconceived ideas or notions or favourites, or just someone who's willing to go there and just like open up and receive, you know.
That's right.
I think that's a really nice... I think it's getting harder, isn't it, to get that kind of crowd?
Well, it seems to, and then you come across Wilder here, and then you go, well, there's a bunch. I asked who was here at the last gig, and maybe 6 to 8 people put their hand up out of the whole whatever was in there last night.
Wow!
And so I had a whole new audience here,
Yeah.
who just bought tickets because I think Matt has brought his tribe here to this corner of the country.
Yeah.
And then he's able to share those friendships with all the people that come to these shows.
Yep.
And that's my main reason is my friendship with Matt Fell to come down here,
Yep.
but also to play that venue because I just think it just gets better and better. It's only my second show, but I'm sure everyone will attest to how good it is every time they play here.
Yeah, definitely hats off to Matt for creating such a friendly, warm space and just being the person that he is. He does have this sort of not mentality. He has this effect of like bringing people together.
He really does, and the fact that he just drifts on stage and he'll pick up a guitar, or he had that bloody weird Melodia thing going on last night, and I loved it. and I had to ask him what it was again because I didn't remember what it was when we'd made records together. But it was just really wonderful that he could mingle around the crowd, make sure everyone had their food, and he'd help out around the bar, and then he'd walk down and he'd pick up a guitar if he knew a song because he was in my band for a few years too. So that was just beautiful history to be able to recreate. And there's a few songs that we did on the record that he produced for me, and it was so nice to revisit a couple of those. Yeah, because he suggested them, and I hadn't played them for a while, so it was like, let's go.
Great, that is great.
Yeah,
I was listening to some of that today on the drive. It's probably about close to 3 hours for me to get here.
Oh, well, thank you very much for doing that, Pete.
No, not at all.
I really appreciate that.
I've got a show in Devonport tonight, so it's not far off the track to come and say g'day and have a chat. But I was listening to that record today, and I wouldn't say comparing it, but I was listening to both Between the Fires and The World Today in the car.
Yeah.
So that was the one that Matt produced, right?
Matt did the World Today, yeah.
And it's definitely got a different energy in it, that record, compared to your latest. It feels like... it's funny, when I first heard it, I texted Matt going, wow, who's playing all that guitar? It's bloody great. And he tells me, Troy's just like going hard over COVID. Yeah. Just like put the miles in and just... I
think it forced me into bringing out the guitar player that lives in you.
Yeah.
Because I had no one else to play with. And normally in a band, you'd have someone else that's actually covering the parts for you, and you're sort of playing very, very straight parts. But as COVID sort of fell upon us and there was no work, it was a case of, well, I still feel like there's things I need to say, but I need to make up maybe my own little demos at home. So I'm the only person playing on everything. I'm a terrible drummer, really rough bass player. But I was getting the ideas together to paint some pictures for myself, for my own sanity, really, Pete.
Totally.
Because I didn't know what else to do. I started tearing down a car.
Yep.
And that took up a fair bit of my time. And I had a car trailer, and I was taking everything apart, putting everything on the trailer, and then taking it up to Gympie to hand over to the fellow who's going to do all the paint and panel.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So there was that part of my life, and that was my brain going, I have to be busy because I don't want to just sit down and fall into a fetal position over having no work.
Yeah.
And it gave me an idea on that you can still be creative too. So the guitar playing thing, I've always been a tinkerer and always loved to play. But that particular album, I'd only lost my dad to suicide, I'm going to say about 18 months before.
Oh, right.
And it was that. Right. So if it feels like a heavy record, that's probably where the heaviness came from.
You can feel it.
And
definitely,
there's some things in there. I had a lot of time with my cousins when I could travel to go down and sit around our fire down around Grafton. It was more of an Indigenous camp for us and men only, so we could let it all out.
Right.
And from that camp, a lot of prison stories came out.
Okay.
With parole and conditions of parole and having to raise yourself as a child. Some of my cousins really had to stand up and be men when they were only kids.
Gotcha.
So
that makes sense after.
Yeah, it's a heavy themed record, and a lot of people thought that that they didn't understand the jail references, but a lot of it did come from that campfire and those stories that my cousins were telling me.
Yep.
And it was some of it was very harrowing because, you know, they're your first cousins and you know them very well, but you don't know everything because these camps are the way that these things can actually come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really quite a heavy feeling record.
Yeah.
In between that, Lost Glen Hannah, that really rocked me a fair bit, and the song on there, Broken Hearts Can Fly, was sort of more about Felicity's journey.
Yep.
After that happened, and the girls.
Yep.
But so many people picked that song up and made it their own too. Like one lady was on the end of a divorce, who I know really well up in Brisbane, and she said, "Oh, that song for me," not knowing the backstory. Yep. She said that was just me.
Yep.
And I went, right, well that's good.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't tell her anything about what it was about.
Yeah.
The fact that and the whole situation of making that record too, I had Glenn's funeral notice under my pedal board, and all I could see is his eyes looking through one of the gaps in the pedal board, right?
Oh, right.
And it was because he was meant to be on a record with me.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. So it was. And I said to Matt, I said, I really wish he was there for this, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I played a lot of guitar to cover for him not being there.
Yep. Yep.
So that was probably the reason, Pete, why I dived in, because he was my pedal guy.
Gotcha.
I could call him and we'd talk shit for hours about amps and pedals and guitars, but he was. It was like he was sort of there in spirit with us, and Matt knew him really, really well too, and it affected him too. He was just meant to be there. So having that notice there, which followed me in my pedal board for a long time until I took it out and I had to change pedal boards, and I put it on the wall at home.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff contributes to music.
Oh, absolutely.
That you don't even realise is affecting you until you start to write or create stuff.
Yeah.
And during COVID, I just wanted to share all these things that I was making up in the studio with friends to keep them all sane, and also to let them know that they weren't alone too, you know?
Great.
Just to keep an eye on everyone. And Matt was one of those friends.
Yep.
And then I said to Matt, I think it was my wife's idea, she said, if you're sending all these things to Matt, why don't you go down and make a record with him, you know? And suddenly it became a thing to just start sharing them all with Matt and just drip feeding him a song every couple of days.
Yeah. And
that turned into, okay, well, it's the middle of COVID, let's go and do this. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'll isolate for 2 weeks when I come back to Brisbane. That's how it worked out. So 1 month, 2 weeks down there with him, and 2 weeks in a motel in Brisbane, which was the weirdest thing in the world.
It would have been so weird to have all this new music ready to share and
and I'm in a motel
to talk about. You're in a bloody motel.
Yeah, I'm in a motel. And,
wow.
And I was just hanging for someone to drop me off some vodka and some decent food. But it was such an experience making that record.
That's wild.
So with Matt, it was, we were going to use Jimmy Barnes' studio, but something sort of went over there where his in-laws had to be isolated because they were quite old, so they needed the space. Okay. So Matt said, well, let's just, we'll get the drummer and I'll play bass and we'll do it in the small studio in Sydney, in the one space, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So that was a studio, not a house? Or was it?
Yeah, that was a studio for Matt.
Okay, cool.
And we had Chris Camzellis came in as another guitar player just to add just another end of town that I don't do. Yep. And he did that really well too. He sort of just did a lot more rhythm parts and bits. Yep. And then we just hit Red and got Ted Howard to come and engineer. I said, can you please get Ted Howard in? I love him.
Yeah. He's
engineered records for me before. And so it frees you up, Matt, to be a bass player.
True.
And you can relax instead of watching levels and all that. You can still obviously work on arrangements with me, but it was great with Matt to be able to do that record like that because it was in such a weird time.
Oh, wasn't it odd?
So
bizarre.
It tested us all out, Pete.
Yeah.
But it changed a lot of people too. It made a lot of people really resourceful in their way of writing.
Yep.
Everyone started that sort of like a song camp thing, and they all started sharing songs, and which was great. And so I didn't join any song camps. I think all I did was just draw on what had happened in the last 6 to 12 months in my life, and just try and write about it.
Wow. Yeah, you can definitely hear, like you're saying, that all those campfire stories come through. And a lot of connection to country.
Oh, very much
stories,
so. Very much so.
And the endless topic of love and death and
and life. You know,
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned those two records because someone had watched this documentary we made on the last record on a Qantas flight,
right?
And they said, "So I've got that record. What other one do I listen to maybe make a bookend of a couple of the last records?" And I said, "Well, the last two records sort of are probably as close as you can get to yourself." Because it takes a while to get to know yourself as a musician over years, you know.
Yeah.
You find that you're influenced by different things through the years, but you don't have quite the confidence to self-produce or co-produce or play your own guitars. And I said, so look, if the last two records are a good indication of where I'm at as a bloke in my 50s with stuff that's gone on and trying to document it as best I can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And try and get out of your own way or get out of your own head.
Yeah.
You know, like just sort of somehow untap that creative side without too many filters and just like let that kind of strong heart emotion come through. And when Matt said it was like mostly all of your guitars on that record, I was like he's really, he's just probably took the spirit of Glenn and went, all right, I'm just going to like...
That's pretty much what made me do it.
Yeah.
I had really enjoyed having him in the band when Glenn was in our band, and I enjoyed the last time I had a really, really good hang with him was on Norfolk Island, you know, when he and I and my son shared a house for a week.
Cool.
And Glenn's only main job was not only to play guitar in the band with us, but to get a photo shoot done over there for me for a Greatest Hits record. And Glenn said, if you keep fishing, man, he said, this cover shoot ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
He said, so stop fishing and let me take you to a couple of places. And look, it was just a great hang with someone that I couldn't pick that there was anything going on with.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the hard part, especially for my son Clay in his 20s over there, or he's just 18 actually. He couldn't pick it either. So yeah, there was a lot of this which motivated me from those experiences with him, just getting me into, I'm gonna just take myself seriously here for a minute and play some guitar and write things around the guitar playing a bit, you know. So,
Yep.
So yeah, it was a motivator.
Great.
Could have gone the other way. I could have just sort of lost hope and went, I can't be bothered, you know. But it had the opposite effect, I think, on me.
Great. Yeah, it is always... I think it's always a challenge to find a positive from things like that. But if that's a positive that you can use to create your own story or to add to your story or your tool belt of tunes or songs or tones.
I've made some pretty different records. All the records I made probably before that, like for the 3 records that I made before I went with Matt, were done in Nashville with me just producing, you know.
Sure.
So you had Brent Mason sitting in the corner.
Wow.
And I rang Jed Hughes and I said, Jed, who plays like Mark Punch in America?
Yep.
And he said, well, why don't you just get Mark? He's living in LA. And I went, oh, okay, so I'll just fly him over to Nashville and he can stay in my com with me, this Airbnb, and then we made the record, the last one we did in Nashville.
Ah, nice.
Which was pretty cool.
Right.
And we had Michael Rhodes on bass before he passed away.
Right.
And and Biff Watson, who's a great acoustic player, would come in and MD the sessions with me, you know.
Okay.
But I was pretty much delivering all the things as best I could arrange them, giving it to the band and playing my terrible demos in front of Greg Morrow on drums and Brent Mason. And I'm saying, please excuse all the bits, because that's where your confidence takes a real high and like pushing songs in front of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'd learned so much, I think, going through the motions of doing 3 records there, then the ones before that, you know, I'd done with Rod McCormick, or the 3 with Nash Chambers.
Yep.
It's all a learning curve.
Absolutely.
And so this last record was really special for a lot of reasons. I got to co-produce with a couple of people, but I was mainly giving them all the songs sort of demoed up pretty much how I wanted them. Mm-hmm. But doing it at my late mum's house was something that it just had to happen. It was like a natural thing. I was down there heavy in sorry business after losing mum, because it's single parent, only child sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
you're going to wear it heavy.
Yes.
So I spent a lot of time down there at the old house mowing and writing songs. And so those songs, even though it's a heavy ride as far as grief goes, it really was the way out for me. It helped my head a lot. The weight lifted after I left. When I closed the gate on the place and rented it out to this old couple who was still in there, I think it just really helped fix a lot of the stuff inside my heart by making the record in the house. I'm walking around the house, Pete. It's where I learned to play guitar.
Amazing.
In front of the record player. And there was a drum kit with Scott Hills up against the wall. Ollie Thorpe was there with his steel. We were going to get Ollie to play guitars, but Michael Moko and myself covered what we needed to, and I loved the sound of Ollie's steel.
Yeah.
And Jeff McCormick was standing pretty much always watching the drums, of course, being a bass player, but he was allowed not to have to engineer while Jordan Power was in the kitchen engineering. So it just fixed me, Pete.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Especially to write and record and to go through that with, a bunch of guys that you respect and it would have been so cathartic, I imagine, too.
Mate, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was sad.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't tell them until the end of the project that was where my mum passed, in that lounge room where the bulk of the band were.
Right.
And so I kept that secret to myself until I was at the fire. I lit the fire every day and smoked the house before everyone got there.
Right.
Opened all the windows, just cleansed it every day of anything that might have been feeling a bit heavy would be cleansed out.
Yeah.
And then I finally told them, and I said, I'm just glad I didn't tell you before. It might have sort of just thrown you off. But Mum was definitely there, and I got a chance to have some of the crew who were doing the videography stuff just pretty much camp there with me for the 2 weeks.
Sure.
And so, what an adventure.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever make a record like that again, but it was such a thrill to ring people and have them say, yes, we can make a record in your mum's old house. If that's where you want to do this, let's do it.
And it sounds like the house is an extra member of the band, in a way.
Oh, totally.
Like you can hear the room, and from go to woe, the mix, it feels like it's been mixed on a console. It's kind of got that guitar left, steel right.
Yep.
And that doesn't change for the whole, every song's got this sort of platform, and so it feels like it's done in that old school way of...
The only separation we had, Pete, was we had to get the amps out of the house.
Yeah.
Because they were just...
Yeah.
After the first song, we all went, oh, look, I'm all for organic here, but I'd like a bit of control over that guitar. Jordan said, look, I've got an idea. Everyone pull their car up next to the house.
Yeah.
And he said, and we'll run the amp in people's cars.
Yeah.
And run the 240 and the lead out for the microphone, and we'll mic up your cab or your amp in a car.
Yeah.
So we did that with myself and Michael and Ollie's amp, and it just created this space where you could actually hear the lounge room again.
Yes.
I wanted to hear the lounge room because that was the place where I had sat in front of the record player meticulously working out, Roy Nichols licks from Merle Haggard records, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then trying to work out John Fogerty things. And so that was the space I wanted to hear. And that's what you can hear in the drums.
Yeah.
Pretty much that sound of when that opening track starts, I can just hear it's the lounge room.
Yeah, that's so great.
You're right, it's like another member of the band.
It is. Yeah. It feels like you've been invited into a house concert or some sort of special space.
Yeah.
And let me have a look at the last track, and especially that.
Oh, the last one, yeah, wow.
Called Moving On. So when I first heard that, I felt like, because that's more of a distant sounding mic technique. It sounds like it's a microphone on the kitchen bench and you're just sort of sitting there playing, and then the band kind of creeps in. And
well, I said to them, look, I would like to just sing this live, please. That's the only way to do this song.
Yeah.
I said, this has really broken down some things in me doing this record. When it got to that last song, the band was set up, of course, and everyone was listening through their cans. I said, so where I'm going to be is in Mum's kitchen, right near the stove, where I used to try out new songs on her.
Right.
And I said, so I'll do it as best I can. There's shine from the room. There's this distance between the mic because I've moved my head, and or you feel something and you're looking this way. I should have looked forward. All he did was set up a couple of 414s in front of me with an old 1942 0018. And
glorious.
That guitar's got its own story. It was just handed to me at a town called Mount Morgan.
Right.
An old bloke said, I've got a guitar I'd like to give you. And I was thinking, great, it'd probably be an Onyx or something, And I'm walking out of the rehearsal, the sound check, and he goes, here it is, it's a Martin. And I went, oh my God. And it was in real bad shape.
Right.
And
from use or just from being like under a bed for
living in mine sites. Right. It had a hole in it. It had been strung up as a bass with a trapeze bridge, and so it could have gone all sorts of ways.
Wow.
But he said, look, no one in my family plays. This has been in our family since the war.
Yeah.
Maybe a soldier might have brought it back or bought it off a Yankee soldier when he was on R&R, because they used to sell their instruments to get some money to go out and get on the piss in Sydney.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this family's ended up with it, but it's come out here somehow. 1942, lived in, and it's the guitar that features on these two records really heavily.
Okay.
With Broken Hearts Can Fly, that beautiful woody sounding acoustic, that's it. And on Doing Time, things like that. And there was also a DeGrucci that I've had that Brian had built two of, and I had to choose between the two, and he was still alive, and that was back in about 95, 96. And that's a big old D45 style thing with Brazilian rosewood back and sides, because I think he must have got some match sets from some church that burned down somewhere in Adelaide. Yeah. So I was very lucky to have gotten that guitar. I'll never ever sell it. Yeah. And it's got a big noise, but this Martin went straight to Luke Kalquist. He restored it lovingly. He said, do you want it to look like this, or do you want it to look a lot more pristine? I said, oh no, please, all the bumps and marks need to stay.
Good.
I said, I would really just like it to play good.
Yeah.
And I'd like the neck reset, and you do what you have to do to get it to play.
Yeah.
And the last thing that Noel said to me, who gave me the guitar, he said, I would just like to hear its voice again.
Yeah.
And I said, right. I said, well, you saying that has really inspired me to take it and make it work. Yep. So Luke worked his magic in Brisbane, and then I went over and picked it up, and I could just nearly cry.
Yeah.
So I took it back home and started to write on that thing as well. And that's one of the main factors of, I think, some of the inspiration. A lot of the tunes were living in that whole thing too. Yeah. And they just were so easy to write on it. It's so light. Ugh. And it's just airy, and you can just hear the age in it. And as soon as you put a little set, I tune it down half a step, because I figure if it's lived that long, it deserves a break, Yes. So I have to capo in weird positions because the band were in 440. Yeah. But I tune it down half a step to give it a spell, because it's 80-something years old now. Yeah. And I think it's just interesting when you get a chance to get given an instrument like that. Yeah. What a privilege it is to record demos and then send them to him, to Noel his name is, and to give him a chance to hear the guitar in action. Yeah. After all these years of either under a bed, in a cupboard, as a bass. Don't ask me why. The machine heads had been drilled out, and bass machine heads had been put on this thing, but thank goodness they didn't anchor the strings in the bridge. Yes. They trapezed it. Okay. So it spared the bridge. Yeah. And so nothing was lifted inside. Perfect. Had a few cracks, and I've got a humidifier in there now that I always make sure there's got plenty of water in it, and keep those cracks at bay. Yeah. But Luke made it come alive. I also took one of his new guitars down with me and played it on some of the bits and pieces as well, and played it in front of a few microphones, but I kept going back to the old one because it was just like an extension of my voice. Yeah. That's so great, and I would have got a huge kick out of that, hearing not only the guitar, sound like a beautiful instrument, but to hear the songs that it was performed on, and also the stories that it had provoked. Yeah, and he was pretty thrilled to get that CD, because he'd be pretty old school being the age that he is. Sure. And so I set it up on a CD to him. Yeah. And I even wrote a song on it. About what was going on in the world when the guitar was built, because it was like because that's the first song I wrote on it. Right. And it was basically started as saying, when this guitar was made, a world war was going on, And I'm thinking of what would have been happening in 1942. And right down to when in the Martin factory, a lot of women took over their husbands' jobs while they were sent to war.
Yeah.
So it could easily have been put together and first played by a lady in that town.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
pretty interesting when you look at a guitar and it's starting to just tell you things. And then, so I sort of made a little song for him. So it was just personalised towards the journey of the guitar.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it's basically saying that this is the guitar that you're hearing on this track here. This is its voice, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it the same guitar that you used on that recent single, Songbird? That sounds like it's down about a tone as well. It sounds like
that might have been. I played the nylon on Songbird, and I took a nylon down, and I think that might have been Garrett's little Martin that he had, which was tuned down.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I let him play that bit. I sat back, let Jem and him produce the track pretty much. I wanted to just do a real tag along on that tune.
Yeah.
Because it's produced and arranged sort of by them two.
Okay.
And I let them go.
Yeah.
I was just like old uncle sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Just, if you need me to play something.
I'll wake up from the slumber when you need me.
And I'll sing my bit. And then I went up and just did a little bit of nylon.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So but I was really going to take the Martin down to him, but he said, I've got plenty of guitars. He said, just bring the nylon string or whatever you'd planned to do. So I brought that down. It's a really, really old cedar top Takamine one.
Oh,
It's like,
nice.
it's. I think the bloke that owned before me must have almost done busking because it had the arse worn out of it when I first got it from Perth.
Yeah.
But it already had a really broken invoice. So,
Right.
really lovely.
So tell me about your... you've been playing Takamine guitars, acoustic guitars, for as long as I can remember. I guess you guys have struck up a relationship, but I'm sure you could play whatever guitar you wanted to. But like, tell me about what draws you to this particular.
Look,
is it more of a live tool or is it a studio instrument as well? Or?
Well, mainly a live tool because when I first used to go to Tamworth and watch a lot of the bluegrass championships, the prize was a Takamine guitar
right.
if you won the flat pick competition.
Okay.
And it was one of those old Martin lawsuit ones with the brown sliders. Mm-hmm. And they always sounded great plugged in. As a kid, I wasn't really plugging in guitars at that stage. I had a nylon string, maybe a Vantage steel string that Mum had bought me just to sort of get something with a narrower neck.
Yep.
But they were just such an impressive guitar live.
Yeah.
And I noticed when they put the capo on them that they also intonated really well. Didn't have to be retuned.
Sure.
Not that I knew much about that. I wasn't using many capos in those days till I started to write songs, really. And so that impressed me. And then, so before I went away in 1990 for a 9-month tour, I needed to buy a decent plug-in guitar. I'd saved my money.
Yeah.
I bought my first Takamine there at a little shop in Tamworth, and it had just a volume and a tone, but it still plugged in better than everything that was in the band because it just had this sound.
Yeah.
And so, that hooked me from this. I've still got that guitar.
Yeah.
And but I changed the preamp to a brown slider system, and it's got all the Highwayman signatures on the front of it now.
Oh, wow.
So Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson's there right across the bottom, and Waylon Jennings, and then I got a mate to lacquer over the top of it for me so I could preserve them.
Amazing.
And so that guitar's got serious history, which started me on Takamine. I struck up a relationship with him when one of the reps saw me playing the old blue one. Yep. Somewhere and loved it. He said, but did you want to update it to something with a tuner and that in the preamp? And I said, I'll see how I go. Yeah. So they gave me my first endorsed Takamine many, many years ago. And to be honest, I had to be honest with Pro Music, who still bring them in. They used to give me a guitar a year for my deal, and I would maybe just give it to a kid.
Sure.
Because that's what you should do. I don't need them. Myself, but if it's a good Japanese guitar with a great preamp that plugs in good, I'll look around, see if there's some young artist that's plugging in, but maybe they're playing a Tanglewood or something, and they need something a little bit more a step above that. I'll find them and I'll gift them that guitar. Amazing. So I did that with about the last 3 or 4, which was good. And then they had this big laying off of people during the end of COVID of all their tradesmen. So their first batch of Japanese guitars didn't come out right.
Oh, right.
So it's a big story.
Right.
Not a lot of people know about it, but that's sort of why there was this huge backlog of orders all around the world, because the people that were given their severance or whatever basically went and retired, and they were the fellas making these, the high-end fellas.
Pass on.
So they weren't there to really... So I don't know whether they've gotten them back, but I said to Pro Music, I guess we don't really have a deal anymore, I suppose, because of the fact that, I got no guitar to give to some kid.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm not running off trying to chase my tail, finding a plug-in guitar again after all these years. I know what I like.
Yeah.
And so I went on Marketplace and bought a Japanese guitar with slanted shoulders and a slotted headstock and a thermal top for $1,500. Because I thought, I've always looked at this model thinking it looks like a real singer-songwriter guitar.
Sure.
Been a lot of thought put into it. Don't know how they went with their craftsmanship, but I'm going to go and try it.
Yep.
So I went and played it. Stunning.
Right.
Stunning guitar. Man, I have not put it down. I nearly brought it down here, but this is the old horse.
Right.
You're not going to go jumping on something green that might buck you off yet. But I also like the mic in this too, for the option of doing what I do. I haven't had a mic put in the other one yet.
Yep.
But yeah, this model in particular, I'll send you the model of the guitar.
Yeah.
It's a spectacular Takamine.
So when you say thermal top, what is do they somehow roast the top?
They season the tops of them,
All right.
and the soundboard. Okay. So they just basically age them. They call it torrefied. And they've been doing that for a while, and they gave me one that had a torrefied top, pretty much the same look as this one here, but out of the box, this one's been played for like 10 years.
Yep.
Out of the box, this one ate this one for breakfast.
Wow.
Straight off the bat.
Wow.
And I strummed it and went, whoa, what's going on here? And they said, this is this new TT, torrefied top technology they've got.
Interesting.
So when I saw the one on Marketplace, it was $1,800 for about 3 weeks.
Yep.
And then the bloke goes, if anyone wants to buy it this weekend, it's $1,500. Come get this thing. So I went and sat there for half an hour and played it and realised it was an incredible guitar. It was really low. He had it set up with really light strings, and he had it in an alternate tuning, so he had it really low when it went up to 440.
Okay.
So I took it to my friend Rowan Staples in Brisbane. He put new bridge pieces and bone saddles in there and raised it up, put 13s on it,
Yep.
like I run, 13 to 56, and suddenly it's like ringing like a bell. I've already written like 3 or 4 songs on it, but it's got this thing, Pete, that makes you want to play it.
Great.
It's got slanted shoulders like a J45.
Yeah.
It's got a beautiful torrefied top. I don't know what the back and sides are, but I've never really had many slotted headstock guitars.
Yeah.
They're really not my thing, because they're shits to restring.
You're a prick to restring, yeah.
But
They
I
look
love
amazing.
it. But it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I do love it. It's got a CT4B2 preamp in it.
Okay.
And I think eventually I'll just get another one of my mics mounted.
Yeah.
I've got a fella in Brisbane that does those. And that just gives you all the options.
So let's talk about the mic thing for a minute. So that's not a part of the Takamine product.
No.
You've just gone and bought what sort of mic have you got in? It's a condenser of sorts.
It's a little condenser. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I'd have to look at the model and then send it to you, so you can actually put it up on the notes of this yarn.
Yeah, we could do that.
But there's a fella that works with Busby Maru and Missy Higgins, and he's just a bit of a whiz sound man. And one day I was watching Busby Maru play at a sound check, and their acoustic was the same as mine, Takamines, but they sounded like there was a mic on them.
Yeah, right.
And so I said to them, I said, okay, what's the trickery going on here? And they showed me what this fella had set up. He's done one for Ian Moss as well, after Ian heard mine.
Yeah.
And he put his in PRS or something that he plays, an acoustic.
Right.
So, yeah, that's where that comes from. But I also, my normal rig, when I do a normal show, is that under my pedal board I've got an Aura.
I've heard about these Fishman.
Yeah, Fishman Aura.
Yeah.
And it's the Dreadnought model.
Okay.
And I had to get the grinder, cut out a shape underneath my pedal board. It's only a pedal train junior.
Yep.
So I can fly with it.
Yep.
And it's always on my back. But I cut out a little square for it to go in there, and then I can sit it up in there and put it in there with a little bit of an aluminium strap. And the idea is I've got a radial DI, a stereo one,
Yep.
which is active.
Yep.
I run, the first signal goes straight to front of house from that preamp, and only unadulterated Takamine guitar.
Gotcha.
I come out of the loop, go into the Aura and back into the second channel,
Okay.
and the second channel runs only Aura.
Okay.
So I can get a blend in my ears of a piezo is not nice in the ears.
No.
Okay? But they're okay out the front when there's air between the speakers and people's ears. So
100%.
not pretty sound when they're quacking in your ears. So what the Aura does, it just adds the microphone modeler in your ears. So I can run it up 100% and I still love it, but I still run a little bit of the guitar in my in-ears. And that's always on my board. So wherever I fly, I've got the pedals that I really love for electric, but the acoustic component of the noise is on that same board. So I can take it everywhere.
So what sort of mix does the front house generally? Do they kind of like tweak it as they go?
Yeah, it depends on the room. See, the Aura can be pretty microphonic as far as being a mic sound, so you can run the mix back a touch. I've got a blend spot that I've drawn on the actual Aura. If I want to run it in front of house pretty strongly, I can run it back to that, because it's still pretty much, I'd say maybe 60% Aura and about 40% guitar. And that ratio works really good out the front. See, last night I didn't even need the Aura, I had it ready, but I had the microphone, which is the Aura anyway, like the same thing. And when there's a blend of those two, I don't think there's a better sounding plug-in for me. It's pretty much the top of the mountain for me when I do a show like that. Because it sounds like you're in a studio. Because the mic's inside, and I also record with this guitar when I want to keep a vocal and not have to redo the acoustic, because that mic hardly picks up any vocal.
Yeah, it'd be pretty well isolated.
It's right in there, you know. If you have a look at how it's set up in there, you can see where it's hiding. See how it's tucked up? And so it doesn't get a lot of vocal, but it still picks up with a little bit of EQ. It picks up beautiful acoustic tones in there. And it's just an XLR out, you know, and a little bit of phantom power. And suddenly you're in business. And I've used that a lot on demos, because sometimes I'm only doing demos, I can't be bothered going back and replacing guitar parts. Not when it's hard to redo them, but it works perfectly. And even radio stations, I say to them, just give me a lead and give me some phantom power, and please don't plug it straight into your DI, because I've heard that. And
I know, it makes me cringe every time I watch someone on like Sunrise or one of these TV shows and they've got like their mate and plugged in, like just use a mic.
And you can feel it, you can almost see it square waving. And it's like, whoa, really? And so I used to always I always have a spare mic lead with me in my kit. And whenever there's an opportunity, I just say to the people, just give me some 48 volt and I'll plug it in, and you've got that. Plus it'll pick up a little bit of the vocal as well. But if it's an intimate thing, and I've done it when we got asked to do something for Channel 9 for In Memoriam, they wanted to hear one of my songs, and all it was that mic. And all the audio blokes come down and go, okay, what's the pickup in that guitar? They don't get it. The fact that, you know, if I had sent them the piezo, it would have been just wrong.
Well, that's great. Well done for making that happen. That's very cool.
Well, I'll get you the name of the fella that does them. He deserves a rap. Because he really does put a lot of thought into getting the best acoustic sound he can. And when I heard the Busby Maru Boys and the two guitars they had done with them, I thought, there's something really, I need to get in on this. So then when I do some touring, hopefully one day again with Ian Moss, when we're both on our acoustic guitars, I'll be using that a lot more, because I've got a new preamp, a Felix preamp now, that can send phantom power. That can also, it's 2 channels. So I can run one channel, which is the normal one, through the guitar into that.
So you'll have control over both feeds.
Both, and you can mute it as well.
I was going to say, that'd be the only thing, is you can't mute it at the car.
You can on this preamp. And Jed Hughes got me onto that. I've got a lot of nerdy mates.
I did a few shows with Felicity and Josh last week, and they're both thrown in those Grace.
That's exactly right. The
preamps,
Felix.
The Felix.
They're beautiful.
I think Langy uses one.
And old mate from Mix Masters over in South Australia brings them in.
Right.
So when I got in touch with the American mob, I just said, look, I want to buy one here in Australia. Who's your distributor? And they went, it's old mate from Mix Masters in South Australia. I forget his name, Mick Audley.
I think it might be,
And so I bought one off.
Great.
Just he had one left. He said they're going like bloody hotcakes, and so that'll be good to have that, because the Aura does its thing, but with the in-ears and the fact that I can actually have control over the mic by being able to mute it.
And the phase relationship,
all that,
EQ over both channels, and the boost function as well.
The boost function.
If you need a bit of more juice on a solo.
You've got stacks of EQ things that I'll never use, because I'm always running flat. If anything, I always never take the mids out of an acoustic guitar.
No.
Tommy Emmanuel always said that. He said, you take the mids out, the wood goes. And he's so right.
Yeah.
And I think he knows what he's doing. Tommy
he's
was
done
the
a few
first person to give me an aura.
Yeah, right.
And I toured with him through the States for the best part of a month, opening up for him acoustically. And he loved the sound of this bluegrass Takamine that I had with a huge neck. And the American distributors, I forget what they were called over there, but they got involved in the design of these Takamines and made them really, really acoustically sound.
Okay.
Still made in Japan,
Yep.
but big solid necks, like biggest neck you've ever felt in a tack.
Wow.
And they still came out with a CT4B2 or a cool tube.
Okay.
And they were just a bluegrass guitar. They were calling them the Cannons.
Right.
And I've still got one. I sold the D18 style one, but the D28 one I kept.
Okay.
And Tommy loved it. And then before we got off the tour, about maybe a couple of weeks before I finished, he said, "Have you tried an aura into an AER amp?"
Yeah.
And he uses those capo, what are they called? Whatever they are now.
Oh, yeah, it's the new AEA guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's
Udo
Capo.
went over and made his own brand again, and they're the capo, and they are amazing. So Tommy plugged into this aura and just introduced me to that. And then before I left the tour, he said, "Here, have it."
Wow.
As usual.
Yeah.
He'd give you your shirt off his back.
Yeah.
He also gave me an original Old Nobles pedal too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, I'm just on the hunt for a Nobles in town. I'd already bought 2 reissues, but I couldn't find one of the Tom Bukovac style old ones.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I think I've got one of them." I went, "Look, I'll buy it." He said, "You can have it."
Yeah.
He said, "I don't play electric much anymore at all."
Yeah.
So, I inherited that from him too.
That's a nice gift.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
And it's lived on my board. I've only just taken it off and put a Keeley on at the moment.
Okay.
Because I wanted to try the Keeley, whatever it's called, a Noble Screamer.
Oh, right.
It's got the 2 circuits of a Nobles and a tubey in the same pedal.
Oh, does it?
And I had to listen to a demo of it, and it sounded very convincing when they were A-Bing the old one to the new thing.
Right.
And I thought, I'd like not to bust this thing up too much from the miles that I do.
True.
And I'll put it on my studio board and have it there and take this new thing away with me. But I'm yet to try it live, and I'm sure it's going to just balls to the wall. Sounds like an old vintage Nobles.
Fantastic.
And I love Nobles.
Yes, that's quite a vibe.
Oh,
quite
man.
a sound.
Yeah.
I've been using the Brown Protein.
Yes.
It's kind of like half Blues Breaker and half Noble.
That's right.
One on each side.
That's right.
I think they're a great pedal for individual sounds, but also stacking them both together as well.
Yeah. And can you switch the order?
Not on the version I have. I think
On the newer ones,
on the
would be able
newer
to-
ones you can.
Yeah.
And I think they've got in and out of both pedals, so you can use a switcher as well if you want.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
can-
I think I had a section in my board that I used to call the driveway. And all the drives came and went out of there.
Yeah.
The Nobles lived on there almost permanently anyway.
Yeah.
But there was always this switch, TS9s, TS10s, going through the mayor stage of thinking that that's probably what I should be chasing to for a front position. Hard to find a good sounding sort of a pedal, I think, for front position on a telly.
Yeah.
You know, something that's going to clean it up,
Yes.
still give it some poke,
Yeah.
but also sound a little bit more bluesy.
Yeah.
So I went right around. I went Maxon 808, went right through to a TS9, an old one.
Yeah.
Had a few Keeley TS808s, but they all just seemed to still have the mid hump that was starting to shit me.
Yeah.
And so I looked up Jesse Davey from King Tone.
Yeah.
And then I realised I tried, Glenn Hanna once again told me he had the Duelist. So I grabbed a Duelist, loved the string singer side, but I didn't love the other side, the slow hand one.
Sure.
So he said, you know, they also make a Soloist, which is half of that pedal.
Yeah.
So I went on the hunt for one of them, and that I found the pedal that I really love for the front position.
Great.
And it does a lot of things for me, but it really sits nice just before the Nobles. I like to make sure if they're cascaded that I'm using the EQ out of the Nobles, because it's not as bright.
Gotcha.
So it dulls down the Soloist a little bit.
Yep.
And that, even though it's not really like an EQ on the Nobles, it's more like just a weird boost thing.
Yeah.
I've never got it. It doesn't just wind it off like a rat, you know.
Yeah. Apparently they're quite a complex pedal.
They are. They're not as simple as they look, but there are positions that work for certain things on that, whatever that thing's called. It's not EQ.
Like a Spectrum, isn't it?
Spectrum or something, yeah, something like that. But it's not EQ. It's just a boost of something. But sometimes it works right over to the left, like at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Other times I prefer it on 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably depends on the gig.
I think it depends on the gig and the guitar and the amp and
Yeah.
you know how you're feeling. And
Does the Protein work the same way?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually. It's not like a Rat EQ. I love Rat EQ because it's really usable.
Yeah.
If you wind it right back,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's making that cap work.
Yeah, true.
But with the Nobles, especially
Yeah.
Tommy's old one, and I know the build quality is not great because I can feel them wobbling around. So
Yeah.
that's the other reason I don't really want to trash this thing.
Yeah.
I love the sound of it.
Yeah.
But this Keeley's, it's called a Noble Screamer.
Yeah,
And
cool.
it's got two little switches on it, and you can turn it up to be an original ODR one, which it absolutely sounds like, or you can switch it down and you've got a tube screamer in the same circuit, like an 808.
Sure.
In a perfect world, if I had a say in that, I would have said, let's make them switchable.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want to switch to the circuit,
Halfway through a gig kind of thing, yeah, right.
you know what I mean? You might want to honk out with something with a little bit more mid-range, which would stack great
Yep.
with the soloist as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I went through a whole lot of that. But I've come down to two pedals that if I took the guts out of both those pedals and put them into one enclosure, I would leave it. I would
right.
absolutely love it. So
That's
that's
cool.
how happy I am now with the drives I've got now.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it is a constant search for a good drive. Like, as simple of a product as they are, that's the most important part of your source, isn't it?
Oh,
Like,
it really is.
That's the grit, or that's the sensitivity, or that's the front pickup, back pickup. Like, it's just that real. I don't know. That's
Not many pedals work great with front and back, I have to say. There's very rare. Rats can come pretty close, but if they're set up for the front,
Yeah.
they're really buzzy, and it's a distortion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's buzzy on the back.
yeah. To be honest, I've never actually spent time with a Rat. I should
There's
do that.
There's hybrid ones. I've got an old one with the old chip in it.
Yep.
And I'll never get rid of that, because the times I was first working with Matt Phil when he was only a teenager, that's when I bought that Rat.
Yeah, right.
And it's a beautiful old sounding thing.
Yeah.
But there's a company called Shin's Music in Japan.
Right.
And they do their own takes on things, and they've got a take on a white-faced Rat with the 308 chip in it. And I reckon it'd be great. There's one I'm watching on Marketplace at the moment. So it's never ending, Pete. But, you know, foundation sounds, I've been using a Dr. Johnson amp, which I absolutely love. It's just a 15-watt Princeton.
Okay.
And it's in a really little light cabinet that I can fly with.
Yep.
And he made me a speaker cab to go with it. I put a greenback in it.
Yep.
And I fly with that in my suitcase.
Do you really?
Yeah, so it's only made pretty much to fit that speaker, but it's got so much beautiful warm bottom end for something that small.
Yeah.
I flew to Adelaide Guitar Festival a couple of weeks ago with it,
Yep.
packed full of it. I flew to every gig last year, interstate, anywhere, and took it with me. And I just carry the head.
Great.
So it's become my favourite little noise. I never thought I'd come back to a Princeton. I always sort of was picking up higher hot rods, loved DeVille's.
Yep.
Playing with Mossy, it was important to have something that was going to stand up for itself. And 60 watts of a DeVille is 212s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, you'd need it with Mossy. He's no...
I know. Now he actually had asked me a couple of times to turn it down.
Ah.
That's how loud it was. I didn't think I was that loud. But gaining up your pedals, like I love Tom Bukovac.
Yeah.
And I like his gain stages. They're not big stages of gain. They're just real subtle.
Little increments.
Yeah. Like a say for instance a light speed, and I've got like an MK124 boost that's on all the time.
Okay.
And I put it at the end of my chain, and it sort of regains the top end you lose with a couple of the other pedals.
Sure.
Brent Mason put me onto that.
Yep.
And he used to run it at the end of his chain and switch it on. And it was only just on.
Yep.
But he said it just tends to just recalibrate it up to being a good solid signal to send to the amp.
I've been doing that with an EP booster a bit lately as well. It sort of gives it a little something. Or even the Strum and Deco, like the left-hand channel of that.
Yep.
Kind of having that as the last thing in the chain, and it kind of like just doesn't compress much, but it kind of just has this, I don't know, it just brings everything in.
Yeah.
Somehow glues everything together.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I mean, look, we all have our favourite pedals and stuff. And my foundation tone has always been to try and get a good telly tone.
Yeah.
On the back pickup, I always set it up to the back. A lot of people, Mark Punch used to always set up his amps to the front pickup, and he would compensate with his tone control when he'd go to the back, which is I used to do that a lot too.
Yep.
But I spend most of my night on the back pickup anyway.
Yep.
So I'm sort of living in that area.
Yep.
And so I've got one of those little SP compressors at the front of the chain, straight out of the tuner, and then it goes into the drives. And then I go from my drives, I go up to a little one of those little pogs. I love putting that on every now and then when you're playing 3-piece.
Sure.
So it fattens things out for a few lines.
Yep.
And then I always come down, I love the flint, Strymon flint.
Yep.
And then love the Brigadier. I've got a real sucker for the Brigadier because it sounds Bucket Brigade, beautifully tappable.
Yeah.
And you can get long repeats, but I set it up with the favourite switches on both. And so the favourite switch on that is like a Danny Gatton, a real
slappy
rockabilly delay. That's the one I can press and know I can go to, but I can tap out the rest.
Sure.
Anything else I need to do, if I want to slow it down and make it a little bit longer, I can do that, but the default is that real slap one.
Yeah, great.
And the flint got the 4 sounds you can use. I've got a sort of like a real sort of a gated reverb underneath for that foundation sound.
Okay.
So it almost helps the delay in a way, give it a bit of depth.
Mm-hmm.
And the other default for that thing is a longer, more sort of spring reverb and a slower trem.
Sure.
Whereas with the trem that I normally set would be just pretty reasonably quick.
Yep.
Just something, but it still gives you a nice texture.
Yep.
And the intensity is not too far up.
Yep. Yep. So great. So many sounds and some great sounds on those records too. A lot of trem, a lot of verbs, nothing too adventurous, but it feels like it's the right sound for the right song. It's really well thought
I
about.
got a lot more involved in that record with Matt, with all those things. With this latest record, it was mainly solos. I was jumping in and jumping on things like Let's Ride and stuff like that, or mixing and matching it with Michael Moko. And so I would talk to him about the approach on the reverbs and stuff before we'd go in on certain songs. I'd say, look, I need this to be quite big and a bit springy. Can we hit that? And he just read it so well.
Cool.
Really, really intuitive play, you know.
He really is. And it's great also for the singer-songwriter to go and kind of give the band a bit of a setup, not telling them what to do with their instruments because you know that they're all pros and they're going to have it nailed, but also to give them a vision, something to work towards.
That's right.
Because sometimes, I know me personally, I probably go more subtle than I probably would like to. Just because
I'm the same.
You think,
you sort of rein yourself in a bit.
Thinking, it'll be too much. Or
you think yourself that intensity on that trem's just way too big for me. I'd bring that back and make that a lot more subtle.
But that's sometimes when they get opened up, it's like, I should have done that before.
Yeah, and sometimes it'll go from, you did it this way, a little bit more conservative on the record, but then you get live.
Yeah.
And certain live things, I'm really glad I had Tommy's Old Nobles with me on the last record because it really set the tone for what I did live as well.
Yeah, right.
It transferred really well to the live situation.
Yeah.
And because I went everywhere last year, 3-piece, it was like a blank canvas.
Yeah.
So the guitar was a big part of the noise last year.
Yeah.
And to be able to do things like I wrote a song with Don Walker, This World Alone on that record, the last one. Playing
I was going
that.
to say, it sounds like Don Walker.
Look,
some of those songs.
I had most of the lyrics sort of nailed, but Don said, look, there's a few rhyme schemes that don't add up. Do you want me to fix them?
Which was the song?
This World Alone.
Yeah.
And he said, look, it's pretty much complete. And he also was on that other real rocker called Till I Get Over You.
Right.
And I wrote that for Chisel. I sort of wrote that with them in mind, thinking I could just hear Jimmy really wailing that. But I thought, I might cut it, I needed something up. And it was a really, once again, one of my cousins gave me one of his jail stories and I ran with it.
Yeah.
And then Don got involved in that.
Right.
And it was really good to have him on both those. They're very Chisel-esque.
I was going to say, it sounds like almost the record goes in half from that point onwards. It kind of goes this bluesy southern soul.
That's right.
Or, so there's southern country.
We took a big side road.
Yeah.
And I was happy to go that way because that was the mood that I was in. And especially even that real trad sort of thing with the big trem and that Congratulations, Those sort of songs are on there for a very good reason. But it took us up a big side road. As soon as I consciously had it in my mind that they were the last sort of bunch of songs I cut.
Cool.
Because we went through the singer-songwriter finger-picking, really intimate stuff first.
Yeah, it's a real journey. It feels like you sort of start with a bit of gusto, a bit of oomph, and then it sort of comes in, draws you in, and you finish. It's almost like a live kick.
That's the way I wrote the set out. Yeah. With the 15 songs, I thought I wanted to have a chance to, and then obviously I came on at the end of last year's gigs and sang a song called Good and Bad. And it was a real self-assessment song. And I would say to the people, look, we've done our big shebang and played Dream Out Loud or whatever. And I said, but I really would like you to just to open up your heart so I can sneak this in.
Cool.
And take it home with you.
Yeah.
And I did it last night. And when you get to the last verse, you can see people really thinking about, are they happy with who they're looking at in the mirror?
Sure.
And that to me was one of the highlights of that. And Some Days last year, to be able to play that for people, everyone would come out to Rocks at the desk and say, what album is that Some Days on? And that makes you feel good.
Yeah, so good. I do want to also, if you've got a couple of minutes, can we talk about that tour with Ian Moss, the 2 acoustic guitars?
Absolutely.
Like that, I didn't get to see it. I was keen to go and catch it, but I didn't get a chance. What's it like sitting next to Ian, like one of the most dangerous guitar players around, like and great singer-songwriter as well.
Oh.
He's a package.
Look,
he's a legend.
Yeah. Well, look, we've been mates for a long, long time, and we sort of sat backstage one day and said how sick we were of just doing solo gigs one out, because it's pretty lonely. Yeah. There's no one to bounce off, you know. Yeah. And I said, if ever you wanted to do a couple of weekends, let me know. And very unlikely pairing when you look at it right. You think to yourself, what a country guy and a rockin' soul singer that can play the arse out of anything on the other end. And so we did a couple of weekends, and the banter really worked because Ian's not like a storyteller.
No.
Whereas I could glue up stuff for him, and then it started to bring out the storyteller in him.
Gotcha.
Which I loved, because I would press him on chisel stuff and all this. He had so many great stories, and we could actually work on that. But in between that, musically, we would start every gig with an old soul song. Like we always start with Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
And to be able to play that with him and I singing together, it really just set the tone for the show. Yeah. And we got into some serious laughs. I mean, we used to laugh about the T-shirt, because I look like a craggy old dog and he looks like this 20-year-old. I said, I don't know how much you paid the people that did the photos. I said, but it should be called Father and Son, the way it looks. And we were taking the piss out of that. Yeah. But it became a bit of the shtick. But such a privilege to sit next to someone that's that much of a powerhouse in their game.
Yeah.
When I watched the Chisel shows that they did this year, was it this year? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a show within a show for me. And I've always remembered that. And so we have vowed to do some more acoustic touring again, because he loved the freedom and the lack of responsibility for everyone else, which I did too.
Yep.
And we just really enjoyed each other's company on stage, and keeping it to just acoustics. You've got to keep it pretty simple.
Yep.
There's not a lot of trickery. He still had a big pedal board that he mucked around with, but we had to keep it simple. He had 2 acoustics on the road. I had this and a Ganjo. That's it.
Yeah, right.
And it just works. And the Ganjo on things like Never Before was the most bizarre thing. We're rehearsing and I said, can I try a Ganjo on this? He goes, yeah, I suppose. Next thing you know, it's in the show.
Perfect.
You know, so yeah.
So good.
He's guitar hero, really good friend. First and foremost, is a guitar hero to me. Yeah. I could not listen to Forever Now without thinking about that intro.
Yep.
And his stories are just so beautiful. And being able to be a little bit of the conduit to extract those, because he's got such a quiet personality.
Yeah.
But when you bring him out, he just really has such an incredible way of articulating his stories. And I was really proud to be a part of that tour. Yeah. So one day, hopefully, we get to do it again, and we'll get the Ganjo and the same acoustic for me. And mine will be the Felix, probably, the Grace thing. But I'd love to do it again, because I learned so much.
I was going to say, I reckon there'd be not only a bunch of fun and to trade off some great stories and licks and songs, but also to learn from each other as well. Like, I'm sure he's picking up lots of stuff from you as well.
Oh, especially
about that. That storytelling ability. Like, that's probably not his jam at gigs. Like you said, he does his talking through his instrument. Like,
that's right.
You didn't say that, but it's kind of, you see a Mossy show, he doesn't say much.
No, he doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to.
Like you say, let his singers do the talking, you know. But I did find that the relatability of being around him made me it helped me with the songwriting. Like we wrote that Nullarbor Plain together, and he also had a song on his new record. I think it's called "I'm Going Back," and he was stuck with it, you know, and it wasn't doing anything for him. So he sent it to me, and because of the time I'd spent with him on the road, I got to know him.
Yeah.
Got to know he was from Alice Springs. And I love Alice Springs and the country out there, you know.
Yeah.
So it gave me a chance to read the song in a different way, reinterpret a few things, and send it back to him.
Yeah.
And now when I hear it, that and Nullarbor Plain I'm really, really proud of, because not only do you get to know someone through writing with them, but, you know, it really is a thrill to hear them being played on Triple M, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
So no, a real big thrill to do that tour.
So good. Well, mate, I better leave you to catch your plane and...
Yeah, brother, it's
back
time to head on over there, but I really appreciate the time, and I love yarns like this, Pete.
Yeah.
I just don't get to do them.
Yeah.
If I can nerd out about guitars and tone and all that, we probably only scratched the surface on half of the shit that we could have talked about.
Oh,
but I appreciate you driving all the way over and let me be a part of it.
Cool, mate. Thanks, Troy. Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, happy travels.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, folks, to another episode of Say It With Guitars. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, share it around to your mates, leave a good review, and hopefully we'll see you next time.